Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. It's a thrill to be here at Africa Energy Week. I would be remiss if I didn't give a special thanks to our hosts here in South Africa for putting on such a spectacular event and hosting us in such a beautiful city. For those of you who have not met me before, I'm Joshua Volz. I work for the U.S. Department of Energy and am thrilled to be here bringing forward the United States government's message on how we see the future of cooperation between the United States and Africa. There are two messages that I want to leave you with today, and they all fall under the category of what I call the 3 Ps. That is prosperity, partnership, and people. And at the center of all of that are people. In his first address as the U.S. Secretary of Energy, Secretary Chris Wright chose to focus on the opportunities with partnership between the United States and Africa. He shared at the event that his belief is that African leadership and African entrepreneurship should be at the center driving Africa's energy future. The U.S. Department of Energy's approach to this development is not in telling Africa what Africa should do and what Africa should be, but instead in listening and in figuring out in that conversation where the United States can best partner and enable the resources, the people, and the policies on the continent to drive forward, grow, and expand. The access to affordable energy, and when we say energy within this administration, we mean all forms of energy, not energy as defined by a certain set of criteria, but energy that drives forward a future that is prosperous and determined by the people here in Africa. International governments should not stand in the way of how African nations determine their energy futures. So it's in that conversation and in that listening to African leaders and African partners that we are eager to hear how best we can, from a U.S. perspective, partner with our African partners. We remain focused that all nations in Africa have the right and the opportunity to take advantage of, develop their resources, and see the benefits of those resources distributed throughout that continent and throughout the people of those nations. And that's what we're doing here at home in the United States as well. This is what's behind the president's determination that we must unleash United States energy dominance and use U.S. energy resources to the maximum benefit of the American people and our partners throughout the world. The second key takeaway I'd like you to remain with this morning is that the U.S. private sector is very eager to work with African partners to develop these energy resources and to see the potential of the continent bloom. There are currently over $65 billion in U.S. investment on the continent, much of which is focused on the energy sector. Just recently, under President Trump's leadership in the Africa Summit in Washington, another $2.5 billion was pledged and has already been operationalized in the drive towards helping Africa achieve its energy independence and its energy expansion. We recognize at the Department of Energy that the private sector is a crucial partner in developing, creating, and fostering the regulatory environment that's vital to ensuring the success of energy projects. And this is the part of our conversation and our partnership that we oftentimes internally refer to as the Jerry Maguire principle, and that is help us help you. And the ability for U.S. industry to partner with African partners to develop those resources is really dependent on that enabling environment. So we stand ready to work with our partners here on the continent to accelerate those environments that are going to drive additional investment to critical sectors of the energy sphere and unlock that potential. So really our role as government is to clear the way for the private sector to succeed, while being clear about what our expectations are. And to the extent possible, that regulatory environment should be focused on unleashing, not restricting those opportunities. As the continent moves forward towards greater modernization and prosperity, policymakers need to communicate expectations clearly. And so industry can make the right resource decisions and be effective in our partnership in moving that forward. We want to do our part to show up for our partners here on the continent, and the partnership and the relationships that we have with so many in this room extend well beyond the timeline that I have been in this job, and will extend far, far beyond that. And those partnerships are an opportunity for us to plant trees for which we will never see the shade, for which future generations will benefit. And that is the stewardship of the moment. And we have an incredible opportunity right now with the resources that exist on the continent, the ambition with our partners here on the continent, and the vision that the United States government has under President Trump's leadership and his administration to run as far and as fast as possible. You know, they often say that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But this is a moment that requires us to do both. So from the U.S. Department of Energy, we look forward to running far and running fast with you. Thank you.